Good day, students. I remain your basic science teacher, Mr. Daniel Ikweme. Today we want to look at renewable and non-renewable energy. And before we go deep into the topic, I would like to refresh our mind on the definition of energy. What is energy? Energy simply is the ability to do work. Whenever work is done, it means energy was used. So energy is used in various forms. All living things and non-living things need energy. Let's take, for instance, our generator. You need to fuel the generator for it to function properly. So that means it needs energy to work properly. So let us quickly look at energy system. Energy system entails the various sources where energy are gotten from. Let's look at plants. Let's use plants as our case study. In science, plants get energy from the sun. There's a process we call photosynthesis. The sun energy is the major and primary source of energy to all living things in the ecosystem. So plants extract this energy using their parameters, photosynthesis, and when they get this sun energy, that energy is being converted or changed to chemical energy. And this chemical energy is now consumed by animals during feeding. When animals feed on these plants, the energy is transferred. You can now see that the energy started from sunlight, converted to chemical energy, and animal absorb it as chemical energy. And that is how this energy is transferred. That is why we said it is a system. So energy system is the transfer of energy from one form to another that is usable by plants and animals. Now let's look at energy source. A source of energy is referred to the energy system used to do work. So what type of energy system is demanded depends on what is to be used. For example, if you need energy to do work as a human, that means you need that light energy that is converted to chemical energy. And that happens to be your source of energy. Now, source of energy in this context is going to be grouped into two. The two types are renewable and non-renewable energy. So what is renewable energy source? This is when energy source can be replaced after use. When energy source can be replaced, that is why we borrow this language, this from English language, renewable. That means it can be reused. Now, example of such energy is the wind, sunlight, biofuel, and hydropower. Now, let's look at them one after the other. Wind power. This is when huge wind turbines are used to turn the blade of an instrument, any device that has a larger blade. So they use wind to turn this blade. As the blade are being turned, what we call the windmill, as the wind turns the blade, that movement of the blade generates electricity. Though it's an archaic mode of generating electricity, but it's still in use in some countries where the wings are used, channeled to a turbine, and the turbine will be propelling. As the blades of the turbine turns faster, so energy is generated. So that is one of the sources of renewable energy. Another very common source is the solar. The solar power is another source of energy where we use sunlight. These sunlight are extracted. As the sun is shining as it is now, there is a panel that is known as photovoltaic cell. This photovoltaic cell will extract that sunlight, store them, and later it is being converted to electricity. I want you to know that when you look at the street lights today, you see that they all have panels. Those panels are what we call the photovoltaic cells. These cells store the energy and convert them to electrical energy, which is usable. after they are being used, the panel can still repeat itself. That is why it is renewable. We have another form known as biofuel. The word bio means is originating from plants and animal source. So when you get fuel from plants and animal source, let's look at it. It said this involves the use of plants such as cane sugar, the one we call sugar cane, maize, and sunflower to generate electricity after the plant have been fermented. So now what happens is that when these plants are collected in large numbers, they are fermented. When you ferment them, it will come out of an hydrocarbon known as ethanol. So this ethanol can easily be used to generate energy. As a matter of fact, some technology uses what we call ethane from domes or drops of chicken, cow, or whatever to generate fuel, which is used as gas cookers, used as gas for our gas cookers. So this is another source of energy that can be renewed. Then we have hydropower. The word hydro means water. So when water is used to generate energy, we call it hydropower. So this is done when water is stored behind dams. Dams are reservoirs which waters are stored. When water is stored in the reservoir and is allowed to flow into a turbine. Turbine is a giant machine that has the ability to convert. So when water is stored in those turbines, they eventually generate electricity. As a matter of fact, this is the pattern or the format Nigerian electricity is being generated by building dams and using it to convert this power. Now let's look at the last one, wood. That one is commonly used by every household, mostly in the rural areas. You go to the bush, you cut those firewood, and you use them to cook. What you are doing, you are using this chemical, converting them to heat, and they are used to prepare your food. So that is a way wood can be used to generate energy. Now you might ask me, how can it be renewed? After this firewood has been used, it turns into coal, what we call charcoal. The charcoal itself is a source of energy. It can be used to generate energy. Now let me leave you with this homework. What is renewable energy source? I want you to define that and send it to me. Give 3 examples of renewable energy. If you look at the note, I've given you about 4. So give me about 3. Then explain, this is when I want to see your intellect. Explain why wood is described as a renewable source of energy. Do that. If you have any problem, you get back to me through our source. Thank you very much.